questions, let me know. I think you either could unmute and ask, or I think even writing them in the chat will probably get them. So, all right. So let's go to the review. So the review goes in order from like 1.1 through 1.4. Your tests will be mixed up, but we'll have all the same type of questions as we have here. So when you do take the test, I will send that out after this, and you will be writing your answers on a separate sheet of paper and then sending me a picture of that. I will just send that through individual chats, so everyone will get their own file through the chat. You'll click on it. Generally, the easiest way is there'll be 3 little dots by it. You click on there. If you open in browser, it'll look kind of like this, pretty nice and big. So, all right, let's get started. It says use the graph below to find out how many more students read romance novels than biographies. So, key thing is making sure you look at the 2 things they're talking about. So we don't care about how far what these numbers are at all. And then it says how many more read romance. Okay, so we got to look here, and you're not going to get the exact number, but you can kind of guess. So it looks like romance is about 95, and you kind of have to deal with some sloppy writing here. I'm still using a mouse. I'm waiting to get the handwriting tool. Biography, we go out to here, right here, you go down, looks to be about 80. And then since it says how many more, you subtract, and you get 15. Okay. That sounds like someone joined. Good. So we got a couple more in there. If you mute your mic, that's good, but unmute if you have questions or anything like that.
All right.
If you're missing out, then on the first one, I'm going to record this and post it. So remember, you guys can use, there's nothing stopping you from using your packets, your notes, watching the videos as you do it, anything like that. So number 2, it says the table below shows the number of members of an athletic club who participate in various sports. Make a bar graph of the data. So I don't think they give you, no. So we're going to have to kind of make one here. And again, this is going to be really sloppy with the mouse. That's actually a pretty good start. So when it's categories like this, we'll put the categories on the bottom. Okay, so they all we'll go with the first 2 letters of each. So that's tennis, swimming. Again, this will be a little easier if you have, using a pencil and lined paper. And you could all actually, write out the words if you wanted to or whatever. You should include things like a title. I'm going to just abbreviate here, but you should write out the whole word. Participation in sport, and you could write various sports or sports. And technically, you would say maybe at whatever athletic club, but this is pretty good. Okay, then we got to look at our numbers here and see how we want to make our scale. Okay, if it goes from 20 to 90, okay, we could go easily by tens, and again, if you have lined paper, this would be better. This is probably not going to be, I'm probably going to have to go in between these.
Hi, Joe.
So again, lined paper, this would be better. So I'll label. So let's say this is 10, 20, 30, 40. That looks bad. $50, $60, $70, $80. This is by far going to be the longest problem. Okay, so again, so I'm going by tens here, labeling every 20. And then you would start with your bar. Tennis is 20. Again, make it neat. Neater than I can do on here. Swimming is up to 90. So I'm just going to, looks like it would be about right here. Again, if you can use line paper, that would be excellent. If not, that's okay. Do the best you can. Aerobics 65. So again, we're going to be about up to here. Volleyball 80.
So you're sending this to us in a packet?
Yep. So like if you want to go back and watch this, not in a packet, I'm recording the video and I will post it in the class. Okay. Good question. And then track 45. So this is 40, this is 50. Just remember that. So if you're on your line paper, you'd probably be in between two lines. Okay. So pretty sloppy, but I'm using a mouse. But I have all the main parts. I have the sports on the bottom, the title, a scale, going by tens and labeling every 20s. So not everyone's will look exactly the same, but this should be the general idea. Okay, that's by far the longest problem we got here. So let's move on. Next page. It says the test scores of 33 members of math class are represented in the histogram. How many students had the score between 75 and 79? So 75 to 79, that's the interval. If we go up, okay, we have to look kind of at their scale. They are labeling every, kind of what I did above, but just smaller numbers. They're labeling every 2, but actually going up by 1s. Okay, and I think they should have had lines in here, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 would be up here. So this best answer would be 5. Now, if there's no multiple choice, then on your paper, you should be labeling the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So you'd have number 3, and then you'd make your 5, and then probably put a box around it or something like that. Or if there's not a lot work to show or whatever, if it's just if you put 5 next to the number 3, I would get what you're saying there. Number 4, histogram shows the number of minutes students at Montrose Junior High typically spend on household chores each day. How many minutes are included in each interval? Okay, so this one is a little different. You don't actually have to look over to the side here for anything. It doesn't ask how many are doing what. It's asking how many are in an interval. Okay, and this is a little tricky because this first one is actually different than all the rest of them. But if we look at all the rest of them, 21 through 40, 41 through 60, and so on. Be careful when you're figuring out intervals. If you subtract these, you get 19, but that's the difference between the two. So if you're actually counting up, if you count 21, 22, 23, all the way up to 40, that's 20 spots. Okay, so the interval means how did they group them up and how many between. Okay, so they're in 20-minute sections. So any of the 20s and 30s are here and so on. And so they're in 20-minute sections. Number 5 is Number 5, it says, it just asks you which of the following is a histogram for this data. So what you might want to do is you could set up your, now all the intervals for all these choices are the same. So that's a nice thing. So you could set up your little interval things like a frequency table. This is going to go a lot faster when I get a pen that can write on the computer. Now you'd go through and let's kind of do this just so it's neat. Okay, and 19 would land here, and then I cross it out. 13 would go here. Then we got 2 10s, so I'll do these at the same time. We got 2 12s. We got a 15. 2 16s, those both go in here. We got a 14. We got a 13. Now on my 5th one, I'm going to make it go through like that, and then it's easier to count. Okay, I got an 11 goes up here. 16 will go here. 20. 11. 15. Now that's our 5th one there. 13. 12. 14. And 13. So now we can look. We have 4 and 9 to 11. So if we look, this one has 6, 9 to 11. So right there, if we're confident we did this right, this one is out. We don't even have to check them all. That's out. 4 from 9 to 11, good. 9 from 9 to 11, not good. And this one has 4 from 9 to 11. So far these two. When we look at 12 to 14, we have 9. So this one goes to 9. This one goes to 9. No difference there. 15 to 17, we have 5. 15 to 17, 5. 15 to 17, 3. This one's out. And then we can just double check, make sure 18 to 20 is 2. That is correct answer. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Number 6, okay, order operations problem. Okay, so you got multiplication, addition, subtraction, division, all in one problem. Okay, so there's no parentheses, we don't have to worry about that. So we need to do multiplication and division first. Okay, and we do it left to right if both are in there. So we're going to have 5 times 9 is 45, and you can definitely use calculators with this, but you need to know your order operations to do it. We can't do the plus yet, so we're going to write this down. We're going to have a minus, and now we can do this. Now you could copy the rest down and then do another step with the division, or we have our division here. It's on the same level as doing multiplication, so we're going to take 12 divided by 4. Okay. Now we have addition and subtraction. Those are in the same priority, so you do them left to right. So we go 45 plus 15. If you needed to, you could type that in your calculator. You get 60, and then minus, I don't know if I need to write out the step. The first two added together are this, and then you still have the minus 3. And then you have 57. So letter D. Okay. 7, Selena's father drove 45 miles per hour for 4 hours and 35 miles per hour for 8 hours. How far did he drive in all? So it's not even too bad of a word problem, because then they say use the expression 45 times 4 plus 35 times 8. So you don't even have to figure out how to do it. They told you. Basically, it's distance times rate, or sorry, rate times time equals distance. So you're taking the 45 times 4, because that's the multiplication. So 45 times 4 is 180. And we can't do plus yet, but there's another multiplication. So we go 35 times 8. Okay, and that's 280. And then we add. So 180 plus 280 gives you 460. Okay, so even though it's a word problem, they set up the word problem for you. Okay, number 8, write the phrase as an expression. Let X represent the number. It says 13 is increased by a number. So they gave you a chart in your packet that gave these keywords. Okay, so some of these will be easy to find. Some of them are a little trickier, but this one, 13 increase, that's an adding one. So 13 increased by a number is that. 9 could be a tricky one. Okay, subtraction means, less means subtraction. That's a subtraction word, just like a few other ones like difference and stuff. Now you have to be careful because order matters. If it said find the difference of 10 and a number, that would be this. Okay, but this is wrong in this problem. This says 10 less than a number. So just think of if you're not sure what the order should be, put a number in for that number. So if we said 10 less than 50, well, 10 less than 50 is 40. And how did you get that? You took 50 minus 10. So this would actually be the different order. There's a couple of those, and I went over that in the video, where you switch the order. If it said 10 less than a number like this, or 10 fewer than, or 10 subtracted from, those would all switch the order. Okay, so you write that down. There's the answer. 10, you're just filling in the values. Okay, make sure you put the right number in for the right variable. So 3 times V is 10, minus W, order operations, take 3 times 10 is 30, W is 11, and 30 minus 11 is 19. Okay, here, no multiple choice, 2 times B, and B is 12, plus 3 times A is 4. So 2 times 12 is 24, plus 3 times 4 is 12. You add them together, you get 36. Okay, so just make sure you're putting the correct numbers in for the correct letters. Another one here, 9, there's only one choice here. Whoops, that should be it. Hold on. That's not a good parentheses. I'm all stuck. 9 times 8, remember 9x, I should have said that up here. When you have a number next to a variable, that means multiply. So this means 9 times 8, or 9 times x, which is 9 times 8, plus 13. So 9 times 8 is 72, plus 13, and you get 85. We're getting close to being done. Last one of these order operation ones, 3 times y on the top, which is 3 times 4. And then we get 1.6 plus 1.4 on the bottom. Okay, now you treat the top and bottom separately until we're ready to divide each, which means we have a number on top, number on the bottom. So 3 times 4 is 12. 1.6 plus 1.4 is 3. Now you just divide. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay.
I have to create her account, but
One second. She
I
has
have
one.
to create her account. She doesn't have one.
She has one. That's right. Her sheet's right up here.
Well,
Um,
let's see it on our list.
Number 14. 5 is the base. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So 5 is the base, the exponent is 6. That's your answer. Okay. Evaluate the power. That means actually find the answer. So this one I don't think you need your calculator for. 3 squared doesn't mean 3 times 2. Remember, it means 2 is how many of the base you're multiplying. So 3 times 3 is 9. 16. There's 2 ways you can do this one in your calculator, and I showed that on the video. You could just, since it's only 3, you could easily write 14 times 14 times 14. Or if you turn your calculator sideways, you could hit 14 and then hit the x to the y button and then hit 3. Okay, so if you do that, either one of these methods, you can see exponents get big fairly quick. 2,744. Okay. Another one here, you're basically doing 2 separate problems and then you add them together. So 2 to the 4th, again, you could write that. I suggest, 2 to the 4th isn't bad. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So that one you could either do in your head or write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 in your calculator. You could also do that with 5. You could do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, or you can use that button, 5, and then hit the X to the Y button, and then you would hit 4, and you would get 625. Okay, so I didn't really write that out. If you have questions on that, let me know. Okay, but that's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And then you just add those together, and you get 641. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so what I will be, question?
No.
Okay, so what I'll be doing is, after I stop this, I have to download this video, upload it to YouTube, and I will post it so you guys have it if you want to review or you need to pause on anything, any one of these, or for the people that aren't on here right now. If you are on this call right now, you will get your respect and effort points for the day. If otherwise, people have to watch it to get that and let me know. So if you're watching this later, send me a message that's that you said you watched it. But if you're on the call right now, you do not need to do that.
All right.
And then I will send everyone an individual chat message with their test. Then you can open that up. Just put your answers on a separate sheet of paper, take a picture, and just send it back on that chat. Okay? If you're having problems with the chat or whatever, we can set up to do it a text message or whatever. But I think most of you got it on your phone, and it should be pretty easy to do that. So, all right, if there's no questions, I will sign off of here and take your time on the test and look up your notes, watch videos, do your best.
All right.
Later.